So yes, I am Taylor Gobar. I work at Hopper. Hopper is a travel app. I want to tell you a little bit about it before we get into what exactly we do with influencer marketing, just so you understand where we're coming from, why we're making the choices we are making. So we are a very simple way to book travel. That's hotels and flights. We have very fancy data science that analyzes over 3 billion price points daily. We have 8 years of historical data, and what we do is we predict when are airlines or hotels going to change those prices. It actually can be predicted when you factor in a million factors. So users get to save a lot of money by using us. We are mobile only as well, which is very different from a lot of our direct competitors. We are the most downloaded flights app in North America. Being mobile only does give us an edge. We get to focus on our product, make it very clean, very simple, but also focus on mobile marketing, which, as y'all know, is very different from the wider world of search on desktop and web. When you are in Hopper, there is an early funnel event called the Watch event. 85% of users opt into this within 2 days, and what it does is it subscribes users to notifications. When you are watching a flight or a route, the best way to get value out of Hopper is to subscribe to notifications so that you get real-time alerts of when those prices drop. We can tell you to wait, but you also need to be told when to book to get the best price. Those notifications don't just tell you exactly the trips that you've been watching specifically. We also detect a smidge of flexibility with some of our travelers. If it seems like you might be willing to travel on other dates or to other locations, we will provide recommendations, such as, I'm a New Yorker, I want to get away in the winter and go somewhere warm, but Hawaii is far away, it's expensive. Hopper might detect that and say, here are some nearer Caribbean locations that are cheaper, deals there, and that's a way to create increased engagement. So our Hopper AI is very smart, smarter than the average user. It also saves them the effort of having to watch a million locations and permutations of all the possible trips that they might want to take. So we do have a nice, strong, organic baseline here. In the coral, in the blue, is our paid. We have been scaling up our paid over the past few years, but also trying to maintain that organic. Where does that come from? It comes from a lot of referral traffic. Our users are happy. There's a lot of word of mouth, and then we do have a ton of PR placements as well. Last month alone, we got over 300 placements from our PR team by working with journalists and keeping them aware of travel trends. We also let that roll into influencer marketing. Some influencer marketing can only be measured by impacts on organics. How do we do all of this? Our growth team is very, very standardized. I showed you a little bit of the app. It's very rigorous, it's very smart, it's very clean. We want that to roll into how we build our influencer marketing strategy as well. We don't want to waste time, and we don't want to waste money. So everything that we choose to do is in an effort to save both. We do have a very small team. We have one influencer marketing manager. I am not that person, and she also manages a ton of other brand partnerships as well. So we're trying to be efficient and keep our focus on what's going to work with us. There are 4 key areas to focus on here. I'll explain a little bit about how Hopper does each of these. There's finding and vetting. Who do you work with? How do you decide who to work with? Where should your influencer placements be when you are a mobile app like Hopper? How do you measure things that seem very unmeasurable? It's very complicated, but Hopper likes to keep it simple. And then Hopper also has a different compensation strategy, which helps basically keep influencers happy, make them feel like they're being part of something special, but also saves us money and time in the end too. So originally, we were very small. Hopper was very unknown. We did a lot of cold reach outs, didn't get a lot of people responding to us, trying to work with us. We had to resort to going to agencies. We used a couple big ones in the first year of our program, and they helped scale up our program immensely. Lately, that's not really what's been working for us. We wanted to cut out the middleman. Hopper has a better reputation now. We're able to do cold reach outs and get people signed and responding. And we do treat our reach out program like any sales CRM funnel. We're measuring our conversion on how people are responding and how many deals we're closing. So that's how we're treating this as something very scalable. We do use other tools to find influencers as well. One of the main ones, it's kind of new. Facebook made their own platform to show you who their influencers are. It's called the Brands Collab Manager. Your Facebook rep can get you whitelisted, get you in here. You can make creative briefs. Influencers will reach out to you, or you can reach out to them. They also have more accurate stats than any of the third-party tools out there, generally on Facebook engagement, where their followers are and where they're following them. We do have one third-party tool that's not made by a social media platform called Hype Auditor. It's really smart on Instagram. It's been one of the only tools that we've found accurately calls out follower fraud, so we use that to vet people before we work with them. And now we have a new inbound marketing strategy for influencers as well. Once we started scaling up our program, influencers started referring other influencers to us. They're all friends. So we have this little exclusive, password-protected, Hopper VIB, very important bunny web portal that we let people sign up for the program with us, teaches them a little bit about what they'll be getting into, and also eases some headaches on our marketing manager's time. When we are vetting them, sometimes using tools isn't enough. We were looking a lot at upper funnel metrics like follower count in the beginning. We've had to shift away from that and look at engagement. It's really hard sometimes to see what the engagement will be like for any one influencer. We relied a lot on influencers sending us screenshots of their story counts and views and comments, but guess what? Screenshots can be photoshopped. Haha, great. So you will run into a lot of people that are just trying to get as many deals as possible, won't always be super upfront about what their followers are actually doing. So now we clause that out in our contracts. We make it very clear to them that one of their deliverables is not just posting about us, but also delivering accurate statistics to us and nulling the contract if they fudge on any of it. Now, when you are working with influencers, there will be some that you decide not to work with right off the bat. You'll see something fishy and say, not worth my time. And then there will be ones that you learn a little retroactively. That was also not worth my time. I advise you not to go directly to the influencers to complain about this with specific ways for how you caught them, unless your goal is really to get your money back, which usually for us, the investment per influencer is rather small. Long term, we want influencers to have better behaviors for the wider marketing community at large, and we want other marketers to be savvy as well. Teaching them how we're catching them will only teach them how to escape detection. So try and keep that to yourselves and talk to other marketers instead. In the beginning, we were looking a lot at follower counts. Here you'll see our CPI did not necessarily go down when we had giant followings. It is very expensive to work with the most famous people in the world. We did not find that their engagement rates were efficient enough to drive low CPIs for us. It's easier not to over-index on one big influencer. We focus on diversifying. 2018, we signed somewhere around like 320 different unique deals with unique individuals. We're trying to break that record again in 2019. On the contract side, this is something that the whole team kind of gets involved in because there are so many ways that we can get scammed or not protect ourselves. In the beginning, we had one scrappy person developing our influencer program. So we basically had a very simple IO. It was able to get closed a lot. Those deals got signed very quickly, but it didn't protect us. So then we reacted. We built out a contract that was 10 times longer, but a lot harder to get signed with influencers. They wanted to negotiate every clause. They got very fussy over being asked to do certain things in a document where they felt that they could edit and redline everything. So now we have external terms hosted on a different part of our Hopper website. We link out to them. It still looks like they're signing a nice, simple IO, and we get a lot less pushback on the clauses that are important to us. Why are we doing this? Well, I'm on the paid UA team, and we saw stories exploding for Hopper. It was super cost effective, and quickly soon thereafter, stories as an influencer placement became the cheapest place to buy influencer media. It still is that way. The costs are trending up, but they're still very effective for us. We wanted to find another way to reach people who are on the mediums that were already working for us. So here's a little bit of what a mobile-only, mobile-first creative looks like. Again, Hopper is mobile-only, so it doesn't work for us to do in-feed posts, YouTube, etc., where we would be losing clicks to our leakier web funnel. We do want people that can attach links into their story format. When we are putting this together, we usually storyboard something out for the influencers, but don't force them to use any one particular script or layout. Because stories are cheaper, it is a little bit easier to negotiate higher story count per post. Stories do disappear after 24 hours. That's part of why the cost is so low. On the measurement side, we use AppsFlyer. There are MMP. Those click tracking links are very important to us, and that's generally how we measure our effective CPI there. There are other things that go into the mix, but flat out, that's how we measure, and it is very competitive for us. Funny trend in the industry right now, influencers themselves are asking for more credit. They want to be credited for people who watched but did not swipe up. They don't know it's called VTA, but effectively that's what they're asking for. So we are trying to help our influencers have that discussion with the platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Here's a little bit of how we might measure our organic lift. Because stories are 24 hours, and that's where we're doing most of our influencer content, it's very easy for us to see quick impact on our organics. So I do advise that you try and pick a format that you can measure outside of just link tracking, but we still prefer to have the direct click tracked. Now, I made it seem like a very easy, straightforward, there's a bunch of steps you can take to make this all work, but that's not always the case. Influencer marketing can be very noisy. It can take out a lot of air out of the room, whether we're at a conference or just having a discussion internally. So we try and really streamline that and gloss over some of those hurdles. And this is how we do it. It's through relationship building, and it's through teachable moments. So influencers are not your media partners. They're not your ad partners. They like to be treated like talent. So it's good to kind of make them feel special, make them feel wanted, and know that some of them brand themselves as creators, not people who are just here to deliver on a contract. Internally, we have a lot of discussions of who should control the influencer spend. Should it be a performance marketing oriented thing? Or is it something that our brand team should control because it's very messaging oriented? It has a lot to do with our product releases and teaches people how to use the app. We're also competing with other brands. Like it or not, there are other people cutting deals with influencers, showing them what they think they should be paid and what they think a deliverable should be. It can be very difficult sometimes to unlearn those habits and get an influencer to be more flexible and deliver something else to you. So we do like to help them. We storyboard things out for them, but we don't force them to stay on a certain script. We also like to spoil them. We're a travel company. We have a ton of perks that we can give them and make them feel special, make them feel like the stars that they are. We also like to teach them. They're entrepreneurs, right? They're self-made folks who are trying to learn how to hustle. We respect that, and we will talk shop with them any day and teach them basically, hey, there's a lot more opportunity out here for influencers that are willing to work with a wider variety of marketers if you can learn how to work with us. We also compensate them a little bit differently. We choose to fly them out to places and host them rather than just cut checks. We also give away flights and let influencers host contests and give those flights to their followings. We also like to negotiate to use their creative. It helps out with our bandwidth. And they can be very original and different from what we would be able to produce in-house. It also fits very natively into the ad platforms we're already spending on. One last thing, go global. Hopper is English only, but we are international. International influencers are cheap, they're hungry, they will work with you, they will do things other influencers have stopped doing, and their followings are more engaged. And like I said, engagement rates are more important than size of following. So we are moving fast. The way we learned this was by inking a lot of deals, cutting out people who are going to waste our time or give us a lot of heartache. If you're not going to work with us, we move on. There's other influencers in the sea. Next up for us, we're building out an affiliate program. This is a product side thing for us so that influencers can offer codes to their followings. We are helping influencers push for VTA attribution. We're also asking platforms to build out things like what Facebook did. Help us discover more influencers. You know who they are. We don't. So I hope all of this helps you save your time, cut your losses, find your success, and figure out what you might be able to offer influencers to actually build a long-term relationship. Please come find me. Very easy to find. And I think that's my time.